It is now my honor to introduce the President of the World Leadership Alliance, Club de Madrid, President Danilo Turk, who served as the President of Slovenia from 2007 to 2012, and will inaugurate this policy lab and offer an important recognition. President Turk has had a distinguished career focused on minority and human rights, including collaboration with Amnesty International, as the UN Special Rapporteur on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, and as a professor of international law. He has served on the Constitutional Commission of the Slovenian National Assembly as the first Slovenian permanent representative to the United Nations, and as Assistant Secretary General for Political Affairs at the United Nations. In 2007, he became the third president of Slovenia. In 2016, he was one of the candidates for the post of Secretary General of the United Nations, and later chaired the Global High-Level Panel on Water and Peace. Welcome, President Turk. Please take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Milburn. And very warm welcome to our friends on the American side of the Atlantic. Good morning. And to the friends on the European side of the Atlantic. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure and honor to start this policy lab on transatlantic approaches on digital governance, a new social contract in the age of artificial intelligence. To start with, I would like to thank Governor Michael Dukakis, co-founder and chair of the Boston Global Forum, who is partnering with World Leadership Alliance, Club de Madrid, in the organization of this policy lab, and who will address our gathering shortly and address some of the key questions that are to be discussed during the conference. I also wish to thank and welcome Secretary of State for Global Spain in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation of Spain, and a longtime friend of the World Leadership Alliance, Club de Madrid, Dr. Manuel Muñiz. But my special thanks and special highlight goes to the generous contribution made by Mr. Nguyen Van Thuong, chairman of the Tram Hong Kang Hoa Company, who made this policy lab possible. As a successful Vietnamese businessman with a visionary economic strategy to strengthen the Vietnamese economy through the industry of agarwood, and an outstanding social leader who has supported the development of Hat Trang Peace and Innovation Village, he has made a major contribution to many projects around the world, and the World Leadership Alliance looks forward to learning more about his initiatives and exploring ways of supporting them. Unable to shake his hand and thank him personally because of the current circumstances, I take this opportunity to warmly and cordially present in a symbolic fashion Mr. Thuong with a certificate of recognition for his fundamental support to this policy lab and our partnership with the Boston Global Forum and Michael Dukakis Foundation. Thank you, Mr. Thuong. My special thanks go also to our partner, Mr. Nguyen Ash Tuan, CEO of Boston Global Forum and co-founder of the Michael Dukakis Institute, and of course to all Club de Madrid members and numerous experts and audience that have generously agreed to join us during this policy lab. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, in line with our programmatic strategy and the objective of contributing to the global conversation about the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, Club de Madrid has organized a series of policy discussions on multilateralism and global cooperation. The state of multilateral system, much as that of democracy, has been disquieting for a number of years now, and both have been further upended by the COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating social, economic, and even political consequences worldwide. Our 2020 policy discussions are zeroing in on multilateralism that delivers, and therefore, scarcely more timely, this allows us, as democratic former presidents and prime ministers from around the globe, to bring together experts and scholars to consider where multilateralism stands and more importantly, where it is going and where we as responsible and democratic citizens can and should take it. Now, one very important element in the recent evolution of multilateral systems and its governance has been the growth and role of digital transformation and artificial intelligence in almost every facet of our life, and the technology that is helping us to keep our activity today is a testimony of that. The COVID-19 outbreak and ensuing global health crisis have clearly accelerated the widespread deployment of digital technologies and artificial intelligence, underlining our structural interdependence and the need to strengthen international cooperation in the multilateral system as we build a digital future for all. The Policy Lab that will be gathering all of us for the next 3 days is co-organized with the Boston Global Forum, and it will build upon the extensive work by the group of experts and scholars that has been already undertaken in the recent years, as well as on the World Leadership Alliance, Club de Madrid, own discussions on the topic, and our call to action on digital transformation and the future of democracy, following last year's 2019 policy dialogue that we had in Madrid. Now, this time around, we will again bring the governance experience of our members, democratic former presidents and prime ministers from over 70 countries, together with the knowledge of expert practitioners and scholars from across the globe, in a multi-stakeholder platform focused on generating actionable policy recommendations. Recommendations for development of new social contract on digital governance, with particular emphasis on transatlantic approaches that are already being considered. Now, these 3 days will surely produce some of very fruitful exchanges and will contribute to a stronger, though probably different look of the future of global cooperation and multilateralism, today recognized as being more necessary than ever. And finally, allow me to highlight that our discussions will continue in the coming months. We will be looking towards different aspects of multilateral system in various policy labs that we are organizing, and which will culminate in our annual policy dialogue, which will this year focus on multilateralism that delivers, and will take place on 28 to 30 October in a virtual format. On that occasion, we will again look at the challenge of digitalization as a key element for the future of multilateralism. The results of our discussions during the coming 3 days and the policy recommendations which we will be developing will feed our policy dialogue in October. And we will again partnering with Boston Global Forum and its renowned scholars. We hope that you will find this policy lab as a vehicle to open discussions, to learn, to generate those actionable policy recommendations we are seeking in this most important process of digital transformation and incorporation of artificial intelligence in almost every aspect of our lives. We thank you for being with us today and in the coming days, and we wish all success to your deliberations. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for these words of welcome and this important framing, President Turk. The World Leadership Alliance, Club de Madrid, is pleased to invite Dr. Manuel Muñiz, Secretary of State for Global Spain at the Spanish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, European Union, and Cooperation, for additional words of welcome to the Transatlantic Approaches on Digital Governance, a new social contract in the age of artificial intelligence. Prior to his government service, Dr. Muñiz served as Dean of the Global and Public Affairs School and Director of the Center for Governance of Change at IE University in Madrid, a leading institution engaged in the study of challenges posed by technological and social change. He also held the Rafael del Pino Chair of Global Transformation and ran the Global Leadership Program at the Rafael del Pino Foundation. Earlier in his career, Dr. Muñiz ran the Transatlantic Relations Program at Harvard University. He was made a fellow in 2017 and is one of the promoters of the Project on Europe and the Transatlantic Relationship of the Harvard Belfer Institute for Science and International Affairs. Dr. Muñiz, welcome, Please come forward.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the Club de Madrid and to the Boston Global Forum and to President Turk. Thank you, Danilo, for your kind words and for having me here, inviting me, and allowing me also to provide additional content a little bit further on. Right after the welcome remarks, I have the privilege of having us. Small amount of time to share with you my thinking, our thinking from this side of the Atlantic and from Spain on the impact of technology, innovation, AI, on key dynamics in our economy and in our politics. And we're in the midst of crafting here in Spain a strategy on technology and global order that seeks precisely to address these issues in a systematic way. And inform our foreign policy through that process, because we think that there's an entirely new domain in global affairs that is dominated by digital and technology, and it shouldn't be a blind spot for our foreign policy, as it has been for some time, given how new and how rapidly evolving this landscape is. But just a few remarks on the moment that we're living in the transatlantic relationship and how extraordinary it is and how important the next few months will be with the election in the United States. We have some key elections coming up in Europe as well in the coming months. But the transatlantic agenda is enormous. It's probably the densest relationship anywhere in the world. And we have lots of issues on the table right now. I mean, I could cite a few from the fight against climate change and the future of the Paris Agreement, which the U.S. Has left, and all of Europe and the EU countries have stayed in. We have the issues of the Middle East with the Iran nuclear deal, with the Middle East peace process that is also open, and issues on which we're engaged on a constant dialogue with the U.S. Administration. We have the issue of China, the rise of China and its implications on a whole range of fields. From security to trade to technology, etc. We have, in fact, the regulation of the tech space, particularly the use of 5G and other issues, with the U.S. advancing an agenda called ClearPath and discussing with Europeans whether what the implications of this agenda are going to be for our relationship with providers from third countries, particularly from China. We have the issue of the digital tax that is ongoing. There's a discussion in the OECD at the moment about digital taxation. We have the issue of NATO and the future of the alliance and its function. We have the issue of the WTO and the future of the WTO and the trading regime. We also have issues pending in the debate across the Atlantic linked to trade, to tariffs, and to a particular dispute we have around Airbus. We have issues linked to multilateralism, the future of the WHO and global health governance. So as you can see, I mean, it's almost the totality of the agenda. So it's essential that this relationship is deep and it's well functioning, and that we come to fundamental agreements around these things. If there is going to emerge, I think, global governance, effective global governance around these things. Now, the state of the social contract within Europe and the US, and I'm already advancing the fundamental theme of the keynote that I'll give in a few minutes, will have an impact on the politics on both sides of the Atlantic, and it will have an impact on the relationship across the Atlantic. So, the social contract defined as this tacit agreement between our citizens and their institutions, and how the legitimacy of our institutions is perceived by our citizens, and the politics that this develops, the domestic politics that this produces, has an enormous impact, a spillover effect on our foreign policy and on the engagement that we have across the Atlantic. And in turn, it has a huge impact on our capacity to address at the very least, just the issues that I just outlined, which are fundamentally almost all of the issues of relevance on the international agenda. So the topic couldn't be more relevant, and it couldn't be more timely. So I'm very happy to be here, and I want to thank the Club de Madrid once again for the opportunity, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing with you all of our thoughts around these issues and also learning from our exchange. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Muniz, for your words of welcome We look forward to your keynote speech in just a few minutes. Now we are pleased to have a message from Nguyen Van Thuan, Chairman of the Tram Hoang Can Hoa, who have generously supported this policy lab.
Từ Việt Nam, quốc gia trầm hương, nơi có trầm hương nhiều và tốt nhất thế giới, xin gửi lời chào trân trọng tới các đại biểu tới dự hội nghị của Liên minh lãnh đạo thế giới. Kính thưa quý vị, diễn ra hội nghị lần này trong một thế giới hoàn toàn khác. Chúng ta tuy không thể gặp nhau mà chúng ta phải kết nối với nhau từ các địa điểm khác nhau trên toàn cầu. Trầm hương Khánh Hòa hôm nay được kết nối với Liên minh lãnh đạo thế giới. Tôi vinh dự tìm được sự đồng điệu tuyệt vời của những tư tưởng và mục tiêu của Diễn đàn Liên minh lãnh đạo thế giới. Thông điệp của diễn đàn về tầm nhìn xây dựng một xã hội trí tuệ nhân tạo vì con người. Thông qua hội nghị lần này, chúng ta cùng xây dựng những giá trị con người cho trí tuệ nhân tạo, những giá trị nhân ái và những chuẩn mực tử tế, thịnh vượng, đầy yêu thương và cao quý cùng với giá trị của trầm hương Khánh Hòa. Nói đến trầm hương, chúng ta phải nói tới trầm hương Khánh Hòa, nơi có chất lượng trầm hương tốt nhất thế giới. Trầm hương Khánh Hòa gắn với nữ thần Ponaga, bà mẹ xứ sở, gắn với trời biển Nha Trang, một trong những nơi có khí hậu đặc biệt và có vịnh biển đẹp hàng đầu thế giới. Trầm hương là hương trời, là kết quả tích tụ linh khí qua hàng ngàn, hàng triệu năm. Nhờ vậy, trầm hương khi đốt có mùi tinh khiết, có khả năng khai mở tri giác và tâm thức con người, và được thế giới gọi trầm hương chính là gỗ của các vị thần, là hương thơm của thiên đường. Trong dòng chảy của lịch sử văn hóa Việt Nam và thế giới, trầm hương được đốt lên trong những đại lễ cúng tế linh thiêng của tất cả các tôn giáo. Ở Việt Nam, trầm hương không thể thiếu trong những dịp đại lễ, trong những ngày linh thiêng, cầu mong những điều hạnh phúc, tốt lành và thịnh vượng đến với mọi người. Chính nhờ những giá trị mang triết lý nhân sinh cùng với giá trị của trầm hương Khánh Hòa và nhận được sự đồng hành của Liên minh lãnh đạo thế giới, chúng tôi mong ước xây dựng làng hòa bình và sáng tạo Nha Trang dựa trên những giá trị của trầm hương, dựa trên những giá trị của trí tuệ nhân tạo, của văn minh con người, để chúng ta cùng nhau xây dựng một không gian có chiều sâu văn hóa, mang trí tuệ đỉnh cao, nơi các tài năng và các học giả sẽ xây dựng những giá trị mới nhằm giúp cho con người ngày càng có cuộc sống ấm no, hạnh phúc và thịnh vượng. Tôi tin tưởng rằng làng hòa bình và sáng tạo Nha Trang như là một diễn đàn của trí thức và trí tuệ. Chính giá trị kết nối của trầm hương, những giá trị cao đẹp, nhân ái sẽ giúp các học giả, các nhà khoa học và các tài năng trẻ của Việt Nam cùng nhau xây dựng những chuẩn mực mới để xây dựng và phát triển một xã hội trí tuệ nhân tạo ngày một văn minh hơn, cao đẹp hơn, vì giá trị con người hơn. Bác sĩ Alexander Yatsin đã chọn Nha Trang Khánh Hòa để sống và cống hiến. Ông có một câu nói rất nổi tiếng: chỉ có ở nơi đây tâm hồn tôi mới được rộng mở và bình yên. Rất mong được đón tiếp quý vị đến với quốc gia trầm hương, Việt Nam quê hương tôi, nơi có hương thơm, có cảnh đẹp và những tấm lòng nhân ái rộng mở. Đất nước của chúng tôi, những con người yêu chuộng hòa bình, cùng chia sẻ, hợp tác nhằm xây dựng một thế giới ngày thêm tốt đẹp hơn.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Governor Michael Dukakis, Chair of the Boston Global Forum, our partner in this policy lab. He served as governor of Massachusetts from 1975 to 1979, and again from 1983 to 1991. Governor Dukakis was the Democratic Party nominee for President of the United States in 1988. Welcome, Governor Dukakis.
Quite brief because we've heard some good words from good people, and it's time for you and the participants in this to begin to go to work on the issues that we face. And they're important ones. I don't have to tell you that as a committed internationalist, I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing these days. Countries that ought to be working together, fighting with each other, some of the old rivalries beginning to come back again. an incipient Cold War that seems to be developing between East and West. This is not the world that I and most of us, I think, want to see evolve for our children and our grandchildren and for the future. And one of the most important things about this effort is what it can do to bring us together, yes, around the issue of artificial intelligence, to be sure, an important, very important issue that faces us, but more broadly, the way we approach problem solving, the way we bring people together, and the way we seek to make this a better world, a peaceful world, a world where nations are working together and not fighting with each other. And that's my concern these days. So I'm delighted to be participating. Very happy that the Boston Global Forum is playing a major role, with a special tip of the hat to our friend Tuan, who has been so deeply involved in this, and to all of you, the Club de Madrid, and so many of you who have been participating actively in these efforts. I can't emphasize enough just how important it is. Now, we've got an important election coming up in 49 days here in the United States. I won't tell you where I'm coming from, except I'm sure you can guess, but I hope it will result in leadership which understands just how important our commitment to multilateralism and to a world at peace and a world that is solving its problems together. And that's one of the reasons why I think this effort is just so important. So our best wishes for a very successful conference. We look forward to working with you on an ongoing basis. And we hope very much that our work together will lead us to a world in which problems and issues are solved peacefully and wisely and well. I believe that that's one of the most important challenges, and want to say once again just how important this conference is. So we'll be working closely with you and doing the best we can to be as constructive as we possibly can be. And I personally look forward to the results of the meetings and the work that we do together. Thanks, and good luck, and have a great conference.
Thank you so much, Governor Dukakis. Over the coming days, we hope to produce those results you envisioned.